Hey everyone, I am Ashley Billington and this is the Campfire. It's our weekly summer high school football show where we go around the greater Houston area and preview everything you need to know about the upcoming season. Because it's never too early for football, right? Today, we take a look at private schools. Let's start things off by taking a glance at some of those teams in our film session. It wasn't the best of endings to the TAPS Division I football season in the Houston area last year. All four area teams went winless in the postseason. However, St. Thomas did go 7-2 and finished second in District 2. They also returned some solid pieces to that team that should help them continue their successful program. St. Pius X went 5-6 on the year, but 2-4 in district play. The Panthers returned two-way player Aiden Allen and wide receiver Jackson Mobley to help improve on that record. Concordia Lutheran finished under 500 in the season, but 4-2 in district play. Second Baptist had a terrific year at 11-2, but finished second overall and will look to gain a state title this year. Cypress Christian will try to defend their Division III state title, while Emory Weiner will look to repeat as a six-man champion. In the SPC, the Kincaid Falcons won the state championship after losing to Episcopal School of Dallas in the regular season. They met them again in the championship and won handedly. Dylan Bell has graduated and is at Georgia, but returning is his younger brother Micah, who should get the attention of opposing coaches for sure. St. John's finished third in the SBC standings, so look for them to improve on that, while Bel Air Episcopal and Houston Christian try to improve on disappointing seasons. Looks like we got some teams looking to repeat as state champions this year, but let's dig even deeper into the private school ranks with the Houston Chronicle reporter John Poorman and producer Ward Fasold in our district breakdown.
All right, district breakdown time, and we are here with John Foreman from the Houston Chronicle. We're talking private schools, John, and last year our TAPS teams didn't have the greatest of times. None of them picked up, at least in the highest division, none of them picked up a win in the playoffs. They all lost in the first round. But what do you think is going on for this year as far as what teams like St. Thomas and them are looking like?
Yeah, it's, there were some smaller private schools, Emory Weiner and Cypress Christian both came away with state championships. You look at, the larger schools though, Second Baptist made it to the state championship game. They beat Fort Bend Christian Academy in the semifinals. So, I'm really looking to see what Fort Bend Christian can do this year. They have a lot of firepower coming back, led by quarterback Brady Dever, who has just been, putting up some crazy video game stats. And then, he has his top wide receiver presumably coming back as well.
What do you think about SPC and Kincaid repeat?
Yeah, I mean, Kincaid going into next season is going to be the team to beat. I think that's a testament to their coaching staff there. Obviously, they're going to have their guys ready to play. Obviously, Kincaid has a long history of success in the SBC and competing extremely well. As we've talked about before, a player to watch coming back, Michael Bell, his brother Dylan, was our All-Greater Houston private school offensive player of the year. Michael Bell is a guy that can do it all. He's going to be a senior this coming year. He's got all these Division I offers from the major schools. And, he's being recruited as a cornerback, but also, he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. I'm really interested to see, kind of what they do with him game in and game out. He's the ultimate weapon, I think.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. I know we got several months before we have to wait for that, but it's always nice to talk football with you, John, and we'll talk to you next week about the lower classifications.
Sounds good.
The guys had so much more to say on the private schools, and you can catch the entire district breakdown this Thursday on our social media platforms. We've heard about the teams. Now let's take a look at some of the players to watch in our Players on the Rise. At the Kincaid School, it used to be the Bell Brothers show, but Dylan is off to the University of Georgia. It's just Micah now. The speedy cornerback plays both ways for the Falcons, but will be a defensive back in the college ranks. Bell also is a dangerous return man because because of that blazing speed. He runs a consistent 10.45 in the 100-meter and uses that speed to stay in your face while he's in coverage. Micah has big-time offers from D1 schools like Texas and Tennessee, but just recently picked up an offer from Notre Dame. At St. Thomas, junior Johan Cardenas is a load to bring down in the backfield. Last year, he ran for just under 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns as a sophomore. He's a strong, quick back who benched 345 pounds as well as runs a 11.37 in the 100 meters. Cardenas also is used a lot in the passing game. Defensively, Aiden Allen is trouble on the St. Pius line. Allen is 6'3" and a strong defensive end off the edge. He can drive his blockers back into the pocket, which allows him to get to the quarterback. Probably why Aiden led the team with 7 sacks and scooped up 2 fumbles last year. Allen is also a problem in the running game as he has a nose for the ball carrier. St. Thomas has a game changer at the linebacker position in senior Zach Rocha. When he's asked to blitz, Rocha is on the quarterback before he knows it, as Zach picked up a couple of sacks last year. But he can also drop back in coverage and make it difficult for the opponent's passing game. Rocha finished last year with 44 tackles, and 14 of those were for losses. That Micah Bell of Kincaid is going to be a problem in the SBC this year. And speaking of Kincaid, our Ward Fasold caught up with Falcons head coach Nathan Larned to talk about a possible repeat and much, much more in our Media Day segment.
All right, Media Day, we are talking private schools here in the Houston area, and I am pleased to be joined with the Kincaid High School head coach, Nathan Larned. Coach, first of all, I suppose you got a championship ring on that finger, so I congratulate you on last year's championship. And what did that kind of mean for you and your program?
It meant a lot. We knew we lost 24, 25 seniors the year before, that COVID year that we went undefeated, and so we knew we had a lot of holes to fill. We knew we had some top end talent, that everybody kind of thought that, okay, well, then they should be really good. But we're looking at it, like coaches do, and saw that there was a lot of issues. And so fortunately, we had a really strong sophomore class that jumped up there and helped us. And they were and very fortunate for us. Some of them were ready to play right away.
Let's talk a little bit about the SPC this year. What are you looking for through the other teams? I know ESD is probably going to be just as competitive, but how are you going to look to survey through that conference?
Yeah, I think it just gets tougher, right? So you've got ESD with 22 plus returning seniors next year, including, the best quarterback in the conference. Episcopal is always just going to be bigger, faster, stronger. They had to play a lot of young guys this past year, and, so we know that they're going to be better. St. John's, they took us to the brim last year, and they were young. They've got to replace their quarterback, but they've got a good young quarterback that's going to jump in there and take that for them. And then they've got a couple dynamic playmakers that are young that are, going to be another year older and that much better. So just the league across the board at the 4A level is just going to be tougher. There's no game where you go out there and you're like, all right, hey, we're going to be able to get some backups in this game. It's every single game is going to have to, you're going to have to bring your best.
Well, good luck, Coach. I appreciate you joining us today. Good luck on that going back to back, and we look forward to seeing some of your games next year.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Looks like the Falcons are ready to make another run. To hear that entire interview, check back on our social media platforms later this week. That's going to do it for this week's show. Be sure to join us next week as we take a look at the Houston area small schools. Something tells me that you'll be seeing a lot of El Campo's Ruben Owens on that show. You can keep up with everything on the high school football scene on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram accounts. Until next time, I'm Ashley Billington, and thank you so much for watching Campfire.